Now, learning how to taste is really important. It might sound really simple. You put something in your mouth and you taste it, which is technically true. Biologically, that's true. But like I mentioned earlier, you want to taste with intention. So the way to really truly taste something, and it's the same for wine, it's the same for cheese, it's the same for cookies, it's the same for ice cream, it's the same for everything. What you do is you take a bite and you very slowly chew it, and you don't swallow it. You let it sit in your mouth. You very gently kind of move it around your mouth, across your palate, across your tongue, across the sides of your mouth, and you think about it. As it's sitting in your mouth, what's happening is it's warming up, but you have enzymes in your mouth called amylase, and they're the first step of your digestion. What happens is that amylase starts to break down the food in your mouth before it goes down into your stomach, and as those enzymes break down the food in your mouth, even more flavor compounds are released. So the longer you hold something in your mouth, the more it melts, the more it just kind of like moves around, the more nuance and complexity you're going to get out of it. What you're looking for are subtle flavors, right? Like there's nuttiness and there's like sweetness and there's tartness, but what you really want are like those like deeper notes, maybe the notes that remind you of other foods. So if you eat a piece of cheese, you might at first taste cheese, but then you might notice like a little barnyardiness. It almost tastes like hay smells. And you might notice a little bit of funk. You might notice like a goaty tang. You might notice some like low down caramely sweetness. If you're drinking a wine, you might taste cherries. You might taste black currants. You might even taste crackers or butter, depending on what kind of wine it is. If you're eating something like a chocolate chip cookie, you're going to taste all those really interesting flavors in a chocolate chip cookie. But you may also notice like those really deep caramely notes of the brown sugar. And if it's a cookie made with brown butter, you might actually even be able to pull out some of those meaty, savory notes that people got when browning the butter, so that it made the cookie even more complex. The number one thing you're looking for when you taste something, especially when you're tasting your own food, is a flat flavor versus like zing, right? So we've all tasted a flat flavor. You taste it and it's just kind of like flat. It's missing something. It's like, something's missing. But we've also tasted things that taste perfect and they evoke almost a visceral reaction. You put them in your mouth and it's almost like they go zing, and you can feel it in the very core of your being. That is balance. Flavor balance is what you're striving for in every single dish you make. You may be making dishes that are more acidic, they're more sweet, they're more tart, or whatever, but every single one of those flavors are going to have a supporting cast of, other flavors. So if you're cooking with acid, it might be sweetness. If you're cooking with citrus, it might be sugar and butteriness. Pretty much everything needs salt, and what you're looking for is a really strong supporting cast that will lift up your main primary flavor. Another really important factor to keep in mind when tasting is smell. Smell is 75% of the sense of taste. When you put something in your mouth and you chew it up, what happens is those compounds go up the back of your throat, up into your olfactory glands, and you can actually smell them even though you're not consciously smelling them. That's why if you have a cold or if you have allergies, you can't smell very much. But this is why smelling everything is so important to improving your sense of taste. Like if you improve your sense of taste, your sense of smell improves with it. Same goes the opposite way. If you improve your sense of smell, your sense of taste improves as well. So I encourage you to smell everything and not just like a quick little sniff. If you've got like a bowl of food, like stick your face in it and really just like smell. Inhale deeply, like deep into your nose, deep into your lungs, and like a deep full breath, and then pause and think about it. Again, now you're smelling with intention, right? That idea of holding on to something in your body, the sense of taste and the sense of smell, so you can pull every last little bit of information out of it is really important. I've got a really awesome tool that's going to help you improve your sense of taste, and it's attached to this lesson, and it's a taste journal. You might notice that people who taste wine like have those little wine tasting journal things, and it might sound pretentious and kind of silly, but there's a reason they do that, and it's because they want to remember every single nuance of the wine they tasted. And they're doing that because when you write something down, you're engaging a completely different part of your brain. So you're smelling it, you're tasting it, one part of your brain is engaging. When you're writing it down, a whole other part of your brain is engaging. If those two parts of your brain are actually starting to like interact and record the same information, you're way more likely to remember it. And the reason this is important is it encourages your brain to really dig into the thought of what you're tasting and what you're smelling. You're far more likely to commit it to memory if you've written it down. So if you find the little form attached here, you can use it to taste anything. And what you want to record are your initial impressions, like the first flavors you got, your secondary impressions, which are kind of the ones that pop up like second within a few seconds, and then the tertiary flavors, like those additional more complex notes that appear when you finally like have left that food sitting in your mouth for like a good like 15 to 20 seconds, those are when like the really interesting flavors pop up. And you'll even get some flavors on the back end, like you'll swallow it. After you've swallowed it, some new flavors will even still appear in your mouth that you hadn't really thought about. Improving your sense of taste is really easy with a few basic rules and a couple really simple tools. With all this information, you'll be able to improve your sense of taste and smell within just a couple months.